What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. For today's team profile, I thought we would stick with a team from Italy's Serie A. So without any further ado, let's talk a little bit about AC Milan. Starting off with the Rossoneri's man between the sticks, we see Mike Maignan. Now, I love Mike Maignan. I think he is a fantastic goalkeeper, so solid, such quick reflexes, such a commanding presence between the box. I think any defender that plays in front of Mike Maignan essentially has their confidence doubled, if not tripled, just knowing you have such a secure and stable goalkeeper playing behind you. Speaking of the defense, at the heart of Milan's defense, I think the first player we're going to see is Fiyako Tomori. Now, what I really like about Tomori is he is such an intelligent centre-back. He knows exactly where the opposition are going to look to attack from, and he uses his quick thinking to just plug holes in the defense and to just cut out opposition attacks before they can even happen. Tomori is also a very strong, very physical player who looks to use his strength to push opposition attackers off the ball and to just outmuscle and outmaneuver them. Speaking of outmaneuvering players, I think alongside Tomori at the heart of Milan's defense, we will see Kalulu. Now, Kalulu is a very quick player. This is a player who looks to use his pace to nullify the opposition attacks. A lot of the times we will see Milan dealing with very quick, very fleet-footed attackers, and Kalulu is the solution to that problem. This is a player who knows how to read the game and knows when the opposition are looking to release a man behind Milan's defense. You'll then see him chasing the player down and winning the ball back for his team, and then looking to recycle it and push it forward as quickly as possible. Speaking of getting forward as quickly as possible, the next player I'd like to talk about is left back Theo Hernandez. I absolutely adore Theo Hernandez. This is a left back who loves to attack. A lot of the time you'll see him playing that marauding wingback role out wide for Milan, just trying to get the opposition wingback sleeping and sneak in behind enemy lines. Theo Hernandez uses his pace, his great passing ability, and his great crossing range to get balls into the box for Milan. But don't look at Theo Hernandez as the kind of player who is unable to score goals, because we have seen him score some very fantastic goals coming in late from that wing, collecting the ball, and then just rocketing it past the keeper. On the right side of Milan's defense, I think we will see David Calabria. Now, if Theo Hernandez provides a bit of an attacking option for Milan out left, Calabria is the man keeping things solid on the right side of their defense. Calabria is also the captain. Calabria is the kind of defender who actually enjoys being in 1v1 situations with opposition attackers. You will see him trying to push the attacker out wide, closer to the touchline, trying to win possession back or pick their pocket and just win the ball back and then cycle it forward. Calabria is not the kind of defender who will go forward, roaming on the flank, but he is the kind of defender who can play those long balls with great accuracy from those defensive positions and pick out the players in the front line. At the heart of Milan's midfield, I think the first player we will see is Reinders. Now, in typical Dutch fashion, Reinders is the kind of player who loves to have the ball at his feet, loves to dictate play, control the tempo of the game, and control the direction with which Milan are looking to mount the attacks. He's the kind of player who loves to spread the ball around, looking to just keep things solid and just keep everybody composed and keep the entire game nice and tight and under wraps in the heart of the midfield. Alongside him, I think we will see Musa. Now, Musa is the player that Milan will look to when they don't have the ball. This is a player who has a lot of stamina, a lot of determination. He's the player you'll see running after the ball, applying pressure on the opposition players, trying to win it back, and then trying to recycle the ball. Musa as well can score some goals for you, but primarily he's looking to win the ball back and cycle it forward. The player Musa will be looking to cycle the ball to more often than not is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek is the kind of player who loves to have the ball at his feet. He likes to run at the opposition, but he also likes to play the ball behind the opposition line from that little number 10 playmaker role, just in between the opposition defense and their midfield, just trying to find the final ball to the front line or looking to pick up the ball arriving late on the edge of the area and score goals from range. Speaking of scoring goals, I think the player we will see getting a lot of goals this season is going to be left wing Rafael Leao. Leao has pace, he's got ability, he's got technique, he's got trickery. Leao is the kind of player who loves to get in 1v1 situations with opposition wingbacks, then cut in and take shots. Leao is, I think, the player around which Milan are building this team, the player they're looking to support all the time, and the player they're looking to score most of their goals or create most of their opportunities. On the opposite wing, I think we will see Christian Pulisic. Pulisic, like Leao, loves to get 1v1 with opposition wingbacks, but he likes to go out wide and deliver crosses in. Pulisic looks to rack up the assists. This is a player who can score goals, yes, but he's always looking to play somebody else in, looking to knit the play together, looking to be that extra body out wide if Milan are feeling that there's too many players playing centrally and they need to just spread the play out instantly and break the opposition defense apart. Centrally, I think we will see new man Alvaro Morata. Now, Morata was brought in as the centre forward to play as a kind of target man for AC Milan. I think they will be missing Olivier Giroud, who's now moved on to the MLS, but in Morata they have a younger player who's perhaps quicker, but can play that role just as well. Morata can hold the ball up while everybody else gets into better positions, or he can take shots himself. Morata is an established goalscorer with both feet and with his head, so he poses a threat wherever he is, whether the ball is on the ground or in the air. Looking at the tactics that Milan will employ this season, I think last season they went out most of the time with a solid 4-2-3-1 formation and looked to play on the counter-attack using their wings to just spread the ball out wide. You see their players centrally, Loftus-Cheek, Musa and Reinders, just trying to win it and then move the ball out wide. On that left wing in particular, while Rafael Leao looks to cut in and get goals, kind of functioning like an extra centre forward in the box, you see Theo Hernandez then taking over and being the winger out wide, the player who looks to get the crosses in, who looks to cause havoc from those wide positions. Tomori provides them with a good option from set pieces because of his height and his physicality, and he is the kind of player who will be scoring goals from free kicks and from corners. The centre forward looks to play just as a target man. This is why Giroud was so important for AC Milan last season. But in Morata, they have a player who can also play with the ball at his feet and who is a little bit more dynamic. So I do expect to see a bit of chemistry built up between Loftus-Cheek, Rafael Leao, Christian Pulisic and Morata very, very quickly. The central midfielders don't really look to waste too much time with the ball. They look to win it back and cycle it forward. Milan is a good counter-attacking team. This is a team that looks to sit deep, play defensive, and then switch in a split second, spreading the ball out wide, confusing the opposition with where exactly they're going to attack from, especially that left wing. When the opposition look to put extra players to pressure Leao, you will see Pulisic then cutting in, or you will see Theo Hernandez going out wide, giving Leao that option. And once Leao passes that ball to Theo Hernandez out there, the focus will switch to him instead, giving Leao all of the space in the opposition box to just beat the opposition defenders with a feint, with his pace, with his close control, and score gorgeous solo goals. Last season was pretty impressive for AC Milan. They had a very decent campaign in the Serie A. They actually managed to improve on the previous campaign's 4th place finish with 70 points and improved on it to finish with a 2nd spot finish last season on 75 points. This was great development for AC Milan, especially considering that for large periods of the season, they were without their 2 first-choice centre-backs. Kalulu was injured and Tomori missed a lot through injury, recovery and sometimes suspensions as well. Milan really impressed me up front by scoring the most goals last season, 76 goals that they scored in the last 5 seasons. In the Champions League, they were a little bit disappointing, but that is to be expected when you look at the group they were in. They shared a group with PSG, Newcastle and Borussia Dortmund, who eventually went on to the final. Milan finished 3rd and dropped down into the Europa League instead, where they were unfortunately knocked out by Roma. It was a little bit disappointing for them in Europe, especially considering in the previous season they made it all the way to the semi-finals where they were defeated by FC Inter Milan. In the Supercoppa Italia, AC Milan lost in the semi-final against Juventus. In the Coppa Italia, they went from being knocked out in the round of 16 against Torino in the previous season to going all the way to the quarter-final and losing to Atalanta instead. So they've been great strides in terms of improvement for the Rossoneri last season. In terms of a verdict for this team, I think AC Milan have some very, very good goalkeepers. In Mike Maignan, they have a great first-choice goalkeeper, and in Sportiello, they have a very good replacement goalkeeper. In terms of their centre-backs, however, I think when they lose both Kalulu and Tomori, AC Milan really struggle. Kia is now left as well, so they're looking a little thin, but they do have Thiaw who can cover if the need arises, but I think just centrally they need somebody else as well. On the left back role they do have Alex Jimenez, and on the right back they do have Fiorenzi. These players are not as good as Theo Hernandez and Calabria, but I think they can do the jobs sufficiently well. So from me, in terms of defense, AC Milan get a 4 out of 5. In terms of the midfield, their midfield is overly defensive for my liking. This is a midfield that looks to tackle and then recycle possession forward. And unfortunately for me, I see no variety in this midfield. I don't see players taking the game on by the scruff of the neck, trying to win it with individual brilliance. So in terms of the midfield, AC Milan get a 3 out of 5 from me. Up front, Morata has come in to replace Olivier Giroud, but in Luka Jovic, AC Milan still do have a centre forward who can get goals, albeit inconsistently. Alvaro Morata does have some previous playing time in the Serie A from his time with Juventus, so it shouldn't take him too long to get used to the setup and get used to playing in Italy. In terms of Salamakers, they do have a player who can add a bit of creativity out wide and can replace a player like Pulisic or Leao, but he also is a player who's flexible enough to shift into the midfield, so I think this is the kind of player who solves a lot of problems for AC Milan. The problem is, however, he is not entirely consistent either. This team is overly dependent on Rafael Leao, and when Leao struggles to play, you can see that AC Milan as a whole struggle to function. So up front, I give AC Milan yet another 3 out of 5, bringing their score to a nice round 10 out of 15. In terms of a forecast for this season, I see AC Milan doing very well in the Serie A and continuing to challenge. I was super impressed with how well they did in terms of still playing without two solid centre-backs. But I think other teams have now also strengthened, especially Juventus and Inter, and they're looking to hit the ground running as soon as possible. So I think AC Milan are looking to finish third in the Serie A this season. In terms of the Champions League, I think here too, depending on the group they're in or the teams they're drawn against in the knockout round, things could go very well or very badly for AC Milan. But I'm expecting to see them at least in the round of 16 stages. In terms of the Supercoppa, this is the tournament I think Milan should be looking at least add some silverware to their cabinet. But I think they're going to look at this tournament and just think they can use it as a bit of an experimental stage instead. So I think here as well, they're probably just going to get knocked out in the first stage, but at least it counts as a semi-final stage instead. In terms of the Coppa Italia, here I think Milan can go all the way. I think if they prioritize this tournament just to add some silverware to their cabinet, Milan can actually finish as winners of the Coppa Italia. All in all, I was very impressed with Milan last season. However, I do see problems in the squad, a bit of lack of depth centrally, especially in the midfield and at the centre-back zones. Great depth out wide on that left-hand side of the field, always looking to attack. Not necessarily getting caught on the counter-attack because the centre-backs then cover and Theo Hernandez does have the pace to come back. But on the right-hand side, maybe looking a little bit more inconsistent and struggling. But all in all, this AC Milan team seems to be the team that understands that individually, while they might come up short, collectively, they can be fantastic. And that was how AC Milan got to where they did last season. And that is how I'm expecting them to approach this season, with the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few. Hi, thank you for making it to the end of this video. We really appreciate the watch time and the fact that you took some time out of your day to spend it with us talking about the sport that we all love. If you enjoyed the content, why not, drop a like down below or comment in the comment section. Um, Maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. And I mean, while you are here right now, have a look at some of our old videos too. They should be appearing on the screen right now, along with that subscribe button. So you know exactly what to do. Um, Thank you so much. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And have a great day out there. And we hope to see you again very, very soon. Thanks. Stay safe.